Welcome back, my dear students. I hope you all are fine and doing great study-wise and health-wise. Today's date is 2nd April 2020 and the day is Thursday. As we have studied about sentences in our last class, today we are going to learn more about the sentences, and today's topic will be kinds of sentences. So, as we have discussed about sentences in our last class, today we will be getting into a deeper understanding of the kinds of sentences, right? So, I have written the kinds of sentences for you here. Here, we have 4 kinds of sentences. First is declarative, second imperative, interrogative, and the fourth one is exclamatory sentence. And each and every kind of sentence has its own characteristics through which we can easily identify it. And today we will be learning about how to identify the sentences that to which category they actually belong. हम आज ये सीखेंगे कि किस तरह से हम अपने द्वारा बोले गए वाक्यों को या किसी भी लिखे हुए वाक्य को, सेंटेंस को कैटेगराइज कर सकते हैं, कैसे उसे उसकी कैटेगरी में डाल सकते हैं. So let's start with the very first type of sentence or kind of sentence, that is declarative sentences. In order to identify a declarative sentence, we must be knowing something about declarative sentences, and that is, pay attention to the board. First point, it states something. What does it mean? It states something? That means it gives us some information or it tells us something about something. मतलब ये जो डिक्लेरेटिव सेंटेंसेस होते हैं, ये हमें किसी चीज के बारे में कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन या सूचना देते हैं, जिसके द्वारा हम ये बता सकते हैं कि ये सेंटेंसेस डिक्लेरेटिव हैं. यानी ये किसी भी चीज के बारे में आपको कोई इंफॉर्मेशन दे सकते हैं या फिर किसी चीज के बारे में आपको कुछ जनरल बातें बताते हैं. दैट इज व्हाई दीज सेंटेंसेस आर कॉल्ड डिक्लेरेटिव, बिकॉज they declare some information or they provide us some information about someone. So that is why we are saying that it states something. Now, the second identification for this is it ends with a full stop. And what a full stop is? Here, as I've also written here, a declarative sentence or assertive sentence both mean same, ends with a full stop. So that is the basic identification. But many of the sentences which are not declarative, they can also end up with a full stop. So do remember this point. Now let's move on to the other type of sentence. And we have imperative sentence as our second type. So how can you identify an imperative sentence? In imperative sentences, it gives us an order, okay? That means it gives order or makes a request. An imperative sentence is which gives an order or makes a request, then it will become an imperative sentence. For example, if I tell you be quiet, then this is a command or an order. So this sentence will be considered as imperative. Or if I say please give me a pen, then it will be considered as a request. So those sentences which carry an order or a request will be considered as imperative sentences. Now, a common thing about declarative and imperative sentence is that both ends with a full stop, right? So, we can say it also ends with a full stop, right? And how it looks like this. So that is the basic difference between these two, as both of these sentences ends with a full stop. दोनों ही सेंटेंस फुल स्टॉप के साथ खत्म होते हैं, इसलिए ये पता होना जरूरी है कि इन दोनों में डिफरेंस क्या है. I guess now it's clear that what difference they hold actually. Now let's move on to the third type of sentence, which is interrogative sentence. So how can you identify an interrogative sentence? It's very easy. It asks a question, right? Interrogative. Just look at the word interrogative. You must have heard this word earlier also. Like in the TV serials or in the movies, you must have heard the word interrogation, or the police will interrogate the case. So what does that mean? That interrogations mean asking something. And police asks whom? The people about the scenario, about the That is why interrogative means asking questions. So whenever I ask a question, this sentence will become a interrogative sentence. For example, if I ask you, what is your name? So that sentence also becomes an interrogative sentence because it is asking something. And the second point about it is that it ends with a question mark. And how question marks look like? This. Fine. Now let's move on to our last type, that is exclamatory sentence. And now when it comes to the exclamatory sentences, here we can identify them by exclamatory sentences shows strong feelings or emotions, right? It shows strong feelings or emotions. फाइन. इसका मतलब जो एक्सक्लेमेटरी सेंटेंसेस होते हैं वो हमारी भावनाओं को दिखाते हैं, हमारे इमोशंस को दिखाते हैं. ठीक है? सो नाउ द सेकेंड पॉइंट इज in exclamatory sentence, exclamation mark is used to show the feeling, right? Exclamation mark, which looks like this, is used. Fine. So now we are done with these 4 types of sentences. Now I have a question for you again. Can you classify these 4 examples which we have gone through in the last video? Can you classify these sentences into these 4 types? And these will be the examples for this also. So let's try to classify it. First of all, try to identify which one of them do you think is a declarative one. Try. Okay. So many of you are giving very correct answer. Let me write it for you, okay? I know you answered it correctly, but still, you cannot write it. Let me write this. The example is, yes, correct. Papa rings the bell. Papa rings the bell is the correct answer. Because in this sentence, Papa rings the bell, it is just giving us information that Papa rings the bell. Papa ne bell bajai. Nothing more than this. Okay, so it is just information. That is why we will keep it into the declarative group. Now let's move on to the, we will write here it is declarative, right? Now let's move on to the next one, imperative sentence. What I have told you earlier, it gives an order or makes a request. So which one of these sentences do you think belongs to the group of imperative sentences? Try to identify it. Correct. Here, do not go outside. It is an order. So that is why it will be put in here. So we have an example for this. Do not go. Okay, just rub it from here. Do not go outside. Right? Now move on to the third part, interrogative sentence. The third one is interrogative sentences. So what do you think? Which one of these belongs to the group of interrogative sentences? I know it's very easy. As you can see, the question mark and those sentences which ends with a question mark belongs to the interrogative group. So that is why our third example will belong to interrogative sentences. So we can write it here as, what are you doing nowadays? And our question mark. That was very simple. Now let's come to the exclamatory sentences. Which one belongs to it? Obviously the last one, but there is an easy way to identify it. That is its exclamation mark. So here we are having an exclamation mark. So that is why this fourth part becomes an example for this group. So exclamatory sentences do what? They show strong feeling. Here we have a word hooray, and when we use this word, you must have won some matches or received some award from the school, like certificates, trophies and other things, right? So whenever you receive these things, you feel so happy, and that happiness turns into a word that is what? Hooray, we have won the trophy, or hooray, I have won this certificate. So basically all those words which shows a feeling will be considered as exclamatory sentences. Like, and not only happy feelings, but the sad feelings or feelings of confusion, feelings of disturbance, any kind of feeling will be considered as an exclamatory sentence when we write it, right? So now, as we have discussed all these four types of sentences, now it's the time to put our class on a rest. So we have completed our sentence topic with all its kinds. Now it's your turn to complete the worksheets which I will be providing in the school application. Go through it and try to work on all those worksheets. You will find it very interesting. Thank you and have a nice day. And now is the time for the parenting tip of the day. You can utilize the time by involving your child in art and craft activities. It will keep them busy and help in developing better motor coordination. Thank you. And before leaving, I would like to suggest you that you should provide the printed worksheets to your ward so that they can practice them well and better understand the concept.